Yay!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Trenton Epizon Rucker. And with us today, we have a friend, a special guest named Sandeep. He's a biology major with a concentration in pre-med. So that's pretty fucking cool. Sandeep, before we get into our topics today, which are going to be origin story and physical health decline, and how you navigated through those things. Tell us a little bit of why, the pre-med route. What got your gears going towards that?
I think like that all stems back from like trying to help people as much as I could. I've always been that person try to help, like just be there for people. So being in doctor's offices, obviously as a kid, I would see like how the patients would come in and they would seem like off, but then the doctor would help them out, and then they'll feel happy and they'll go.
Mm-hmm.
They have a cause, and like the doctor provides the cure, and then that's all good. Another part was I used to break a lot of bones when I was growing up, so I've shattered all my ankles, and then I've wound fingers, and like so I was like, maybe this is what my calling is. I can fix myself up. The doctor bill's expensive. Let's just go into it, and then like I enjoyed it. Science has always intrigued me, so that's kind of how that started. Very cliche answer, but that is truly what it is. It's not really
Yeah,
anything.
it's an honest answer. Yeah, dude, that's an honest answer. Because I know it's not easy. Hold on, everybody. I'm drinking some aqua really quick. Aqua break. Yeah, no, that's not easy, to do, and I don't mean just academically. I just, like you mentioned the other day, emotionally, that,
It
yeah.
definitely, especially in America, it's super draining in terms of just like the preparation. So like you really have to be prepared to like be in the lifestyle because it becomes a lifestyle. For many of these like when shadowed, they technically, if considering, don't have a social life. They could be making a decent living and still have social life, but some of these like do not have a social life. They miss their kids' birthdays, like anniversaries, and all these like family time that is needed. So sacrifices are being made for like the benefit that they're providing to our society. So it's basically all comes down to like, hey, how much do you want it? The pay is good, but compared to the hours that they're working, it's like a give and take. So it kind of just depends
Right.
on.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Something that I'm really, really interested in. Um, our topics are, origin story and physical health decline. From your, experiences and how you navigated through that. So I'm super duper interested in hearing about your origin story and how you navigated through that, things that you've learned from it, and any advice that you would give others. But all that to say, pretty much just your story, as much as you're willing to share.
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
so ready to hear. Yeah.
Let me just like start back from like
Yeah.
back in the born, right? So I was born in this little town called Bharatpur. It's in Rajasthan. Fun fact about that city, it's one of the only cities that I know that the English, whenever the British were ruling over India, didn't have direct control. So
Oh,
I take a lot of pride in that. My ancestors were a part of that. They didn't give in to those things. They kept their autonomy. So that's always been interesting to me, and that's what kind of look that gives me the motivation that I need. Because if my
yeah.
ancestors did all that for me, like I gotta repay them by their sacrifices they've made for
Right.
me, right?
What city
So
in India was this?
Bharatpur, Rajasthan.
Okay.
Bharatpur, yeah, Rajasthan. It's a little town. It's like a fort. You literally, if you look it on Google Maps, it's a fort, and that's where they were. They were doing their thing. Uh, yeah, so I was born there. I had cousins, like we all lived in like a big family house. Like my grandfather built this nice house for us, and it was like his brothers, and they were all living in there. So it was like always surrounded by family and like that loving nature uh, that was there. You know, like you're sad, you have your cousins, or you have like other people, like my aunts and uncles that were always there, and I was always a perfect child, right? So that plays a huge role in when I come to America, you know, because I always had that. I was the center of attention. Everybody loved me. Everybody like cared for me, and so like that was always nice. Uh, and then so I was born in 2000, right? Around 9 years later, my dad, 7 years later, my dad's like, "Hey, I'm going to America for work," and we were like, "Okay, cool, you know, do your thing, make this bread."
You said
So he,
America? Say that again?
yes, sir, America in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, so he came here in 2007. 2 years later, I come here. I'm 9 years old, and the culture shock in general is crazy because you go from like India to America, and everything is just like it's so vastly different. For example, like whenever you go on the highway, right? You don't really think about much, but for the first time in like 9 years, I saw silence. I didn't see cars honking. I just saw big 18 wheelers, and I was like, "Yo, the only like similarities I could see is like in GTA 3." That's what I used to play back home. So I'm just like driving in this car. It's a Mitsubishi. It's my dad's friend that's driving us back to our place in America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like pointing out cars, and my mom's like, "Yo, what are you talking about? Like, what cars do you know?" I'm like, "No, I know this from GTA. Like, I've played these cars." So that's kind of how that worked.
GTA is Grand Theft Auto, right?
Yes,
For
sir.
people that don't. Yeah, gotcha.
Video games, of course. Then like everything settled in, right? I remember one of my first like core memories in America is the next day. So we're jet lagged, so we sleep through the day, we wake up at night, and in the evening there's this guy. He's on a ripstick, but I don't know what this ripstick is yet, right? Because I'm here and I'm just seeing this guy like do this thing, and I'm like, what is this thing? As a 9 year old, I'm just like, it's like, damn. Suddenly, like within that moment of that guy like turning the corner, so he went away, I feel this like loneliness creep in because I'm now missing my cousins, and I'm just like, okay, it's this time in India. It's like early morning, so I would be waking up. My grandfather would be making us thandai, which is a drink that kids usually drink. My cousins are playing cricket in the ground, and I'm just like, and I'm here, and it's just like a surreal feeling. Like in that moment, I just felt lonely. And this is like summertime, right? So we're just staying in this apartment. And like my dad would do his best. Like he will come home from work and we will go to like the malls around and do all that stuff. But I really didn't have any friends my age. It was hard, right? And it became super difficult because I was just like, I would stay home and then go out experience and stuff like that. That kind of changed in 5th grade. So I went to a school here in 5th grade, and that was fun until like the bullying started happening because I'm different. One, people used to like pick on me for my hair, my clothes, and it was just like weird because it was like we had uniform, like, so it's like, what are y'all tripping about? But it was just like, it was confusing because like I never witnessed that in India because I was like, why are they saying these things, doing these things for no reason? I'm just there. I'm existing. So anyways, that happened. That stood around for like till 8th grade, I would say. 8th grade, that was like bullying kept on happening. And I was like a scrawny kid, bro. Like I think I was 50 pounds when I came back, like came to America, like whatever that is, or 50 to 60, whatever. I was like a weak kid. And then like, honestly, that culture shift, because you go from like India where like classrooms are, you know your friends and everybody here, and like now you're just in America in this 5th grade classroom and everybody's looking at you differently for no reason. It's just because you're from India, and it's like, yo, I'm right. So even then, like 4 years passed by, I don't have really friends until tennis came around. It's like my saving grace. Like 9th grade year, high school, honestly. That's when I started making some friends, lifelong friends. Uh, and then tennis was like my escape. Like in high school, that's all I cared about. I would go in, do my classes, really not put in effort, but whatever. Like I would just wait for my eighth period so I could go to tennis and courts and just play my heart out. Uh, and that's how I started making friends. And then like within that process of like tennis, uh, and this is a match that we played. That's when I kind of like understood like what self love is, self
Mm,
appreciation, being true to yourself. Because like these friends that I was getting from tennis wasn't because I was conforming to someone else's idea of who I am, but understanding I am who I am, and the people that I will attract will come no matter what. So I made some great friends. They knew my shortcomings, right? I'm not saying I'm not a saint. I have my shortcomings, but the people that are with me now, they understand that this is Sandeep, but whatever he is, he's true to himself. Like he's not here to please me, right? So some of my like oldest friends from like that like high school era, they will come to me for advice because I will like all my friends know that like I won't sugarcoat anything, and if they're in the wrong, they're in the wrong, uh, and I will say it without any hesitating because I've been lonely, right? I've been lonely. That place, I can go back and say whatever, and I know I will come back to you. So I have absolutely no problem. It's like if I lose fake friends, call us. Like I'll lose them. If they're fake, there's no benefit to my life. Uh, so that's kind of how I am. And then in college, I met you, Friesta, Juan, and all those people, and like we're just kind of chilling. And now I'm just here, existing and enjoying my life from not looking back at it. Like right now, I'm just so many memories are coming back, and I'm just like, what was that time? But a quote comes back into my head right now. Actually, you you overestimate what you can be in a year, but you underestimate what you can be in a decade. So to
ooh.
anybody, bro, like trust me, this short time is gonna be okay. But if you pass through in 10 years, you're gonna look back at it and you're like cringe. Like it's not even gonna matter in the like grand scheme of things. 10 years, you can change your whole life.
Mm,
Like you gotta want it actually, because like I'm supposed to be a part of statistics. Like I did not care about school. Like nothing really mattered to me, right? I was just kind of there. Uh, just existing. Didn't really have friends and whatever. But like I now, like I have the friends that I have are family.
mm,
Like these people will be with me for the rest of my life, and that was because I knew who I am, and like it kind of embraced my flaws and didn't like conform to like the social. I still like, for example, like I used to get bullied about my oil, like my hair because I would put oil in it, and the oil would have like smells or fragrances of like the the products that are being put in, like rose water or something, whatever it
mm,
is, and it would put a smell. It's really good for your hair, but it would have a smell, right? And the people didn't like it, so I would get bullied for that. But now these same people are putting that rosemary oil in their hair to make sure their hair doesn't die out. I'm just like, it's kind of coming full circle. I was like, it's interesting. What's going on here, Uh, and then like my bullies are now, bums basically,
yeah,
like
yeah,
like in the grand scheme of things, nothing. Those years do not matter, and like I'm well off
right,
than any of my bullies. Like that's honestly, I wish them the best, but at the same time, I'm like,
right,
you chose, like I can't.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is vulnerability time. Yes, just say it straight. Um, I find, because I didn't know this about you, so I'm actually really moved. Like I was sitting here in silence, just really soaking in everything you're saying, and I know that there are gonna be people listening all over the world, um, that are gonna be able to relate to your story. Um, culture shock. You know, it can feel lonely. It's hard, at first. From what I'm getting from you, and you found tennis, and you were, by that passion, you were able to, learn yourself more, love yourself more. um what what would you say to those of us who are in that dark area right now? What advice would you like, if you go back and if you could go back in time and tell yourself something to help you get through, what would that be?
Honestly, like the quote that I said earlier, you're
Mm-hmm.
over you can be in the short run and underestimating what you can be in the long run. I understand, like, it's easier said than done. Like, honestly, like, I know when you're down in them trenches, it's hard. It's really hard. I've been there. Trust me. You know, uh, let me tell you a story. Like, seventh grade, uh, English, sorry, not English, math, right? Uh, isn't the strongest subject. Doing really horrible in it, but somehow got into the math count stuff, uh, and I'm just like struggling and like just about to do something that's really stupid. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, what was I thinking? For
What
something
was that?
I was about to like, you know, like how do I say? I was about to
Commit
like
suicide?
I was thinking about suicide. I just didn't know. Like, I was thinking about suicide. I was almost there to do it because over some math. Like, I was like, now that I look at it, it's like, bro, what is this? Like, there's this phrase in Arabic. It's like, if you're down that bad, like if you're about to kill yourself, jump in a pond of water, and you'll fight to make yourself survive. Like, you'll be fighting to survive, and then you'll realize that it's not that you want to kill yourself. It's something that inside of you that you're trying to kill, whether it be your demons or insecurities or flaws. But you just gotta kind of embrace them and just like kind of keep working towards like that goal that you have. Um, the best way I've seen it, like, start off small. Like, individuals like that are down bad, like that are down on their luck, like, start off with small goals. There's no point in, like, if you're down, there's no point in, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get an A in this class. Like, let's just say for college, right? A lot of people in college are struggling,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no point in just saying that. Oh, like, you can aim for that, but like, set your goals to like a B or something, and like just start working towards that, right? So you're not putting yourself under extreme pressure. You just kind of like set small goals, and those small goals set up into big like things. But at the end of the day, you gotta have it. You gotta want it. Like, there is no point in you listening to this podcast and then not implement a single thing, because then nothing helps. Because like it or not, this world is harsh. It's toxic. It does not give two shits about you, me, anybody else. They will chew you up and throw you and use you, and that is all this world will ever do, right? uh, so you gotta want it. There's no somebody that's gonna come save you. It's all inside of you. You're more than capable of doing it. Trust me. Just keep fighting. Like, uh, it's a hard world, and I think we've done it. Like, we've survived for this long. We'll keep
Right.
surviving, and like, I think that's the one thing. It's like, you just gotta set small goals and keep achieving them. For example, just go outside. Like, depression, bro. Like, everybody's like vitamin D deficient, right? Go outside, take some sun, go walk in the sun, and like for 45 minutes. That's gonna help you. Like, just like being outside, right?
Mhm.
Like, walking, all that stuff is gonna help you. That's what I do. That's what
Yeah.
helps me. Like, just being outside, uh,
I
whether
do
it
have
be. Mhm.
something, a theme that I am seeing. I just know that someone is going to need to hear these words from your mouth. So, Sandeep, would you say that you were in that, that dark moment when you were contemplating suicide? Um,
Mhm.
Looking where you are now, can you with confidence say it does get better? Don't
Oh,
give up.
100%. Don't give up. Life is beautiful, right?
Mhm.
Life is beautiful. Do not give up. For example, no
But
matter
wait,
what.
wait. Say from because your theme is saying this, but I want to hear, and I'm sure others do, want to hear you say the words, it got better.
definitely got better. So, for example, seventh grade was bad in my luck, right? Did bad on math, was doing bad, made A's through Cal, pre-Cal 1, pre-Cal 2. Sorry, not pre-Cal, Cal 1 and Cal 2 in
Yeah.
college. Yeah, like did that. Like it gets better in like life will get better. Trust me. Like whatever you're going through, we all are going through. We're fighting our battles, and like everybody is going through some shit. It gets better. You just gotta keep on believing in yourself. That belief in yourself, you're truly undermining how powerful you are.
Right.
The human brain is like it's gotta keep working, and it's all is like how badly you want it. I think that's what I truly from my experiences like you just kind of got to keep working towards that goal that you have set for
Yeah.
yourself and achieve it.
Something that's two things. I feel like, I mean, would you agree? I feel like a lot of, at least, okay, at least from me, from my experience, there we go, that when people would tell me to believe in myself, I would think it's like a feeling, when really it's an action. It's a small action, like just getting out of bed, eating, just breathing, that is a sign. If I could go back and tell myself, um, that it's okay if you don't always quote unquote feel like you believe in yourself. We
Mm-hmm.
may have our thoughts. However, thoughts aren't always facts, folks. Um, the smallest action is huge and is a sign to someone believing in themselves, as well. I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah, because like whenever you say believing in yourself, right? What are you believing in yourself to do something,
Mm,
right? You say, "Hey, I'm gonna wake up today." It's not a feeling; it's more of an action. What you're doing, you're believing in yourself. You're having a confidence. If a task is provided to you, you're gonna get it. Like for
yeah.
example, coffee, getting up from the bed, like you're believing in yourself that you're capable of doing it. It's not a feeling. Not like everything that you're feeling is some electricity neural impulse that's coming through your axons and like neurons in your brain, but being able to overcome that, like that need to just stay in bed and just get up and be like, yo, fuck brain, fuck you, right now I'm gonna do this is what I need to do. Like I'm gonna handle you later. Like have your me time, right? Have your me time, like, but at the same time make sure you have priorities straight, because like I said, when you got a job, right, no, you can't be staying in the bed, right? You gotta provide. So you gotta believe in that self. That's what I think of it, like believing. Nobody want to get out of bed early morning when it's cold
Mm,
and the bed sheets are warm. You gotta believe in yourself that you're getting out of it so
yeah.
you can get money.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just honestly like, I'm really taken aback by your story in a good way. Um, I Can you repeat those words one more time, that it does get better, and then I want to take like a 5-10 second moment of silence for those of us who don't believe it'll get better, who don't feel or see that it'll get better, and for those who are, contemplating taking their lives as well. From someone who has been there, Sandeep, you've
It
already,
gets
stated that you've been there, that you've contemplated it, someone needs to hear. So, can you say those words,
yeah, like
for us?
for
And
sure,
just,
bro.
we're
Like,
going to take a silence.
it gets better. Like it really does.
Mhm.
Keep
Okay.
moving forward.
Yeah. We're going to like sit on that for about 10 seconds, folks. Having a moment of silence as respect for those of us who are struggling with those thoughts, who are thinking about it, um, and who don't see a way out right now, and who don't feel a way out right now. So, 10 seconds. I don't know if this was 10 seconds, but I think that was 10 seconds. I don't do math. But yeah,
I also want to add one more thing before we move on
yes.
to
Oh,
uh
dude,
a
keep
lot of
talking.
times people think like mental health is kind of like a personal thing, but help, if you are truly suffering from something very, very like severe, seek help. Seek help, reach out. Like, I'm pretty sure every single one of us like has friends and families that truly do care about us. Reach out. Being alone in that state isn't healthy. From personal experience, right? Everybody's different, but like, just reach out if you are. There's resources available all over the world, like the crisis helpline, suicide prevention. Like, just reach out. Trust me.
Yeah. You know, and well, this is your episode. You're the star. You're the VIP. You can speak as much as you want about a topic, and if there's another topic, like the physical health condition that we don't get into within the hour, you're always welcome as another guest. The door is literally always open for you, Sandeep, and I mean, I really mean that. I would like to say, to add on to that encouragement. I myself have attempted to take my life. Like, I went through the process of taking my life. Clearly, I'm still living. However, I wasn't at some point when I decided to take my life. And, from someone like me who, thought about it for a long time, just couldn't see a way out. I was like, you know what? What's the point? I just tried everything. I did the best that I could, and it just seems to be nothing. Feel like parents don't love me. It's like I'm alone, but it's like I didn't want to be alone. I wish I had those to reach out with. And so what I did, Sandeep, is I ended up. So I've had multiple attempts in my life. The first one was when I was 15. That was the most. That was the one that I like did the most of the suicide. And then so I'm still here, obviously breathing. And I will get into that, in another commentary episode. Just tell a little bit more of my story on that for anyone who's interested in listening to that. But Sandeep, I believe it was 3 years ago that I was literally at the end of my rope one last time. I was done. Like, I mean, done. And I planned to do something, I had planned to take revenge on my parents and my family before I left this earth. Because I was like, they definitely helped put me in this terrible predicament that I was in, and it's not blaming them. It's just holding them accountable. Like, and I say that because I know, at least for me, a lot of times folks can be like, oh, stop blaming others. It's like, there is a difference between blaming others and just holding them accountable as well. But I ended up driving my ass to a psych ward, psychiatric hospital. I was just there for like 3 days, but that saved my life. And I can sit here and tell you now, Sandeep, that I can attest to your statement. It does get better. And I just feel like hearing you say that, it's going to be even more impactful for us, because a lot of people that, they hear that from people, oh, it does get better, but we don't really hear the middle, the beginning and the middle, like, yeah, because it's like...
simple, right? So, it's not a change of like mindset. It's like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and it's like, okay, I'm gonna feel better. It takes a long. Sorry to cut you off, right? But it does.
Fine. It's your episode.
Whenever you're like down and like in that depressive episode, you can't just be like, okay, I totally understand. You can't just wake up the next day. It's like, okay, I'm out. I'm gonna do all of this, and that's truly is. But I commend you though, to get that help that you needed whenever you're feeling that way? Because is this the same time that I talked to you about the thoughts that you were having?
I believe it was like a little bit after that, but it was
Okay,
around that
gotcha.
time. It was during the summer.
Mhm.
It happened during a summer. I do remember that. But you know, and so I can really, attest and am an example to your statement. It literally does get better because it's like, you've just, thank you for being vulnerable enough to share that with us. And it's helped me to share that right now. This is vulnerability time. It's hard. I was kind of scared to talk about this on, my podcast in general, just because I'm vulnerability time. Vulnerability is uncomfort, but there's growth in the uncomfort. But just hearing folks that have been in the moment of despair and hopelessness, they don't see a way out. To see and hear someone like you, Sandeep, who is sitting here today with the words, the honest words. And Sandeep, y'all, he's very blunt. He's very blunt. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. Um, so one thing about him is like you can definitely believe him. It gets better, and I just because I know there's someone, I don't know who this is for right now, but I just know if you are listening to this right now, folks, and you are in this moment, or you or somebody you know are in this moment, know that you did not come across this podcast for no reason. I
Mhm.
encourage you, I beg you, just hold on just a little bit longer. It will get better. It won't feel like it right now. It won't. It won't look like it right now. It won't. I'm just gonna be honest. But I promise you, it gets so much better. I just don't know how that is for, but I just know someone who's gonna come across this. Where's my towel at? I think I'm about to cry. Someone who's gonna, come across this, and they're gonna
But the,
hear your words, Sandeep, and mm, they're gonna be encouraged that, okay, I'm not alone in this. It does get better, or maybe it is time that I seek help. Y'all, if I didn't go to that psych ward, I would not be living. I would not be living. I mean, I was so scared to go for therapy and for medication because I was told, oh, you don't need medicine or things like that. Folks, get help. You deserve the help. You deserve the love to your body to receive help. You are worth it to receive help. You're not weak for receiving help. In fact, you are super duper strong to receive help because vulnerability is strength. And before I let Sandeep hit us with his wisdom, um y'all, this is I like to use this analogy a lot. Um when a seed is like I like to think that humans, we're a lot like the earth that we live on, and I'm pretty sure y'all have heard me say this in previous episodes, but I like to say it again because you just never know when you need to hear it, or someone needs to hear it. Um when you put a seed in the ground, y'all, not only does the ground have nutrients, but it's also vulnerable enough to take in, what the seed needs to grow. So, like water, sunlight. And what happens to the seed? It grows through the ground. But the ground has to be vulnerable for there to be growth. Yes, that seed is in darkness at first, but it grows and then it reaches that sunlight. But if you plant a seed and then you put concrete over it, that seed's not going to grow. It's not going to get what it needs to become um, strong, So, and I use the cement as symbolic for strength.
Mhm.
Like, don't be vulnerable, don't show emotions. And I'm like, well, literally, that's just research. that's literally how the body works. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable in order for the body to like feel, to heal. That's one way the body can grow. Acknowledging certain things. I'm not gonna get too scientific, but like the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, the hippocampus, the gray matter, the white matter of the brain. You know what I mean? Some of these things, because of like of trauma or um, it, it can it's okay to get help. That's what I'm gonna say, folks. Go ahead and research the brain if you would like. It helped me feel less alone in that I wasn't crazy. Um, that wow, this is actually normal what I'm feeling, and like I'm not the only one feeling this. There's clearly tons of research on this, and so I'm like, wow. So that also was on my journey to help get help. And then there's people like Sandeep that I did open up to a while back about this. Which was super hard to do, extremely hard to do. Of course, there's that fear of judgment. Being vulnerable does not feel good. But let's discern the difference between being uncomfortable and being unsafe. Um, there is growth in the uncomfort, but don't push yourself too much to where something can be unsafe. So that's something I'm working on, is recognizing and discerning the environments. Like, okay, is this uncomfortable for me as a way of like growth and challenging myself to progress a little bit, or is this just a complete unsafe environment? like
Mhm.
like really quick one just example, just because I know someone out there is listening who needs to hear this. I went to this group yesterday, and it was like a young adult church group. I was invited to it. At first I did not want to go. Did not want to go. But I was like, you know what, I want to stop. I want to work on not judging Christians, because I'm afraid, they're all going to judge me because I'm gay, yada yada yada. So I went and I was extremely accepted. However, I was still uncomfortable because I, I was protecting myself. It's like the mind body trying to protect you with the biases. However, if it was unsafe, like like they're judging me or they're saying horrible things to me, that's unsafe. But if it's like in a healthy environment, a loving, healthy environment, which is a huge way the body can heal as well, um, recognize, try to discern that uncomfort is a good thing. But trust your body enough to know, um, trust your eyes enough to know that when something's unsafe. Um, that does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Because like, I think I want to add something in terms
Yes,
of like talk
please.
about vulnerability in the tree and all that stuff. Most definitely, if you're just a hard hat, then nothing gets through to you, and uh, like you don't release. You have your ways to release. You will explode internally, mentally, uh,
I know
and
that for a fact.
burnout, right? That causes burnout, and then that kind of just is not fun for anybody. For example, there's an individual that was very close to me, right? And they weren't like the most open in terms of like their mental struggles. And there was a time that one day I was just like kind of like they were having their episode. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong? And I like the person just froze. He just froze and just started crying. And I'm like, let it out. Honestly, let it out. This is all from like years of you just holding on to these things that you have never released, this trauma that you have, whether you like to say it or not. Because like mental health is still a big taboo in a lot of like my culture, especially in Asia. That thing is literally not supposed to exist. Like I think I was the first one in my family back home to like kind of introduce that
Mm,
word of seek psychiatric help if you need to. Psychologist, go look therapy. Therapy is great. Like everybody go. Even if you think you're great and you have no issues in life, just go to therapy.
yeah.
Just like go talk to an individual that knows how to talk to. like people and just like understand what's going on, right? That's always good. But yeah, going back to the story with the person, and he just cried. And I'm like, all right, so why? And then like after, I'm like, why are you this way? Like, what's going on? And he opened up about his trauma, and I'm like, and you just think like we aren't here for you. It's like, well, I didn't want to be vulnerable because then that makes me look weak. I'm like, do you understand how much strength that it takes to go up to somebody and be like, yo, listen, as a man, as a woman, I am not feeling weight. As like just a human in general, like I am not feeling weight. I need help. Like asking for help, that's hard, right? Uh, so it takes a lot of strength in that you aren't weak just because you ask for help. So people just need to understand like it is okay to seek help. And if you are in that position where you're like, oh, I will absolutely not seek help. I don't care how strong they are. People, they're anonymous groups that do this stuff where like you don't even gotta release your information. Just like get professional help. And that way, in that manner, at least you're not, you're seeking that help, you're getting the help that you deserve, but you're not outing yourself. That's unsafe. If
Right.
you don't want to get into
Yeah.
that. So that's what it is. But
And
on the
y'all can
lighter note,
find these resources on Google easily. And something else that Sandeep mentioned that I want to highlight really quick is yes, it can be hard to seek help. However, it is harder to go through something and it get worse and worse and worse. Um, yeah. I'm
that is
just
that.
like, I would go back and tell myself, okay, uh, uh, yes, it's hard to seek help. Um, that uncomfort, and then you get help, and then you start, your life just starts getting better slowly, slowly, thanks to treatment and intervention. Or you can not seek that help and deal with it harder and it get worse and worse. So it's like go through that. Okay, so it's like two sides of fear. Like, okay, like on the other side of fear, there is that help. And then there's this other side of fear, where it's just like, oh no, I'm not gonna get help. And like on the other side of the fear, it is it gets a lot worse. So it is better to seek to go the hard route of help than a hard route of hurt and more hurt and um, yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what? I'm just gonna be honest. This is vulnerability time, y'all. Someone needs to hear this. Look, 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 look. I, finally took, that hard path, um, and got help. Finally. However, there was a part of me that was against the help, so I just didn't get help. Um,
Mhm.
and it would have been much easier had I just got help and faced that uncomfort rather than not get help and face literally to the point of suicide. I just gotta be fucking real. You just gotta be fucking
Yeah.
real. We're just gonna be honest. Yeah, y'all, like shit, this could be, hey, if your body is not okay, if your mind is not okay, listen to your mind, listen to your body. Um there are resources, anonymous, and there are like a multitude of resources as well, like online or through Zoom or in person, and folks that can match, that can like be a representation for you when it comes to therapy or things like that. For example, I'm not making sense, but for example, like let's say if you're an LGBTQ plus community individual, you can find a therapist who also, and just go on Google. It's actually really simple these days, thankfully, like the amount of resources, thanks to Google. Um, yeah, and you can get that person that like relates to you. Like, okay, like, like there's that representation. Yeah.
I think it's wired in as humans that we want to feel be a part of the group. That's how we, I think, psychologically are wired in. Like once you find really people Once you understand that there are people that are going through the same struggles as you are, you feel much more comfort that it's like, I'm not the only one. Sometimes people feel hopeless in events because they think they are the only ones, but trust me, uh, even though uh, you're going through something right now, one, it's gonna get better. Two, there's someone in this world that's going through it worse. Honestly, the world isn't a perfect place. Like, I think it helped. It helped me when I understood, like, this world is not a perfect place. It is a hostile uh, environment, and you just kind of have to. You have to survive. You want to. You have to, like, have that inner fight, inner energy,
Yeah.
motivation. Keep
But I
on
do
moving
want to
forward.
mention the other part of the glass as well. Kind of going off the scenario, is the glass half empty or half full? It is both. It is both half empty and half full.
Mhm.
So yes, this world can definitely be hostile and just survival mode sometimes. However, there is a lot of beauty that can come into
Sure.
this world. And Sandeep, you are a part of that beauty. So let's pat yourself on the back really quick. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are these there's this very, not so beautiful world sometimes
Mhm.
in our lives. However, you're an individual, Sandeep, who is part of that beauty and that light that we see. Not saying that you're perfect, not putting you on a pedestal. We're human. We're gonna fuck up. We're gonna fall off the pedestal.
Sure.
However, in the midst of your humanity, you're able to be beauty and you're able to be light. And so that also goes into, it does get better, folks. You, as an individual right now listening, you could be such a light and not even know it yet.
For sure. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the thing is, like, going back to the same quote, stop meeting you in 10 years. I think in the grand scheme of things, 10 years only, like, let's say you live up to 100, 10%. Like, you just got to survive that 10% of your life. And then what if, for example, for me, kids are a big thing. Like, I want to be able to raise, like, a beautiful, my legacy around with them, right? And I look forward to that part of life. I think that's how I'm gonna find my, like, inner peace and, like, happiness and all that stuff. But I have to, like, keep working forward to it, because, like, you can bring kids on, but, like, how are you gonna feed them? How are you gonna give them the life that you want to give them? So that you
Right.
kind of keep moving forward with these plans. But anyways, going back to this, happiness, it's all subjective. Happiness, we all get happiness from different ways.
Mm.
Something that me and Trent might not work for you, but the one thing that I would want everybody in this podcast to take away from this podcast is, like, you are more than enough. You're beautiful, you're kind, and you're worthy of every single beautiful thing that this world has to offer. Please believe in yourself. Please trust in yourself and your ability to persevere and come over whatever hardship that is being thrown at you, and understand, in a few years you will look back at this time and you will be like, I, I'm the individual that suffered. I'm the individual that fought this, and I am the individual that persevered. These issues that you're going through will not matter in the grand scheme of things. You're gonna look back, like, let's just say, like, you're the individual like me, and you want kids. When you see your kid for the first time, and he's born and he's playing and he's doing these great things and he's achieving, you're gonna look back as, like, okay, that, like, I could have ended my lineage right now and not have to wouldn't have witnessed the beauty of life and what has to give. For I do believe that this world is beautiful and bad in itself, but I do also believe that the beauty is far outweighs the bad that this world has to offer. It's just you have to create that environment, that ecosystem around you, so you can be surrounded by yourself, by people that truly care for yourself. Like, for example, like, you remember the last time we talked, and you were kind of going through, like, how you felt very lonely at times, and I was just like, change your whole friend group, change your whole friend group. And I just remembered that, and I was like, yeah, like, I literally, we cannot identify a situation and a problem and then keep going back to that. That does you or nobody any good. Like, that is, like, some hard decisions have to be made. Like, if that is, if you're your problems are caused by individuals that are within your system, like within your inner circle, it's doing you no good. You
Right.
are you're killing yourself basically from the inside. You want to be surrounded by people that you feel easy with, you know. You can be vulnerable and open.
Yeah.
Always have, or I would rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. I remember that's the thing that I told you 3 years ago, and I still stick by it. But yeah, that is it.
Yes. Thanks so much, Sandeep. That was, that was
A lot of
beautiful. That was beautiful, y'all. I was crying. Y'all can't see though, cause y'all are only gonna see hear the audio. Y'all can't see the actual Zoom. Yes. Um. Oh God, I'm speechless. That is Sandeep. That is a definition. He is the definition of beauty. He is the definition of light. He is the definition of determination. I love this quote that I wrote in my poetry book, folks. Is, Sandeep is that the moonlight still having the courage to shine even on the darkest of nights. Um, And then here comes that sunset. It's darkest before dawn. The sun, the light is always there. It's always there, folks. If you're listening to this, let me tell you something. Just hold on a little bit longer. You're literally almost there. And also give yourself tons of fucking credit. Toot your own horn real quick. You're still here, folks. That means you have overcame literally 100% of the bad days that have came against you. Why? Because you're still breathing. Winning is not a feeling all the time. Winning is action. And you're still breathing. You're still here. Okay? You're winning. You're winning. You're winning.
for
Um,
sure.
this is an awesome episode. I just want to give honor and thank Sandeep so much for his vulnerability and for taking the time to do this. Like I said,
Always.
this is determination. This is success. This is not giving up, y'all, because it does get better. And this is vulnerability time. I will see y'all next week, next Friday. Yes. Bye, everyone. Don't hang up.